the Always Believe House. Oh, and today we are going to do your test review over writing linear equations. Oh, so let's get rock and rolling. We're going to have direct variation and we're going to have writing equations and lines. Okay, so a magical whiteboard appears and we will start rocking and rolling on your test review. So number one, remember if things varies directly, if it's directly proportional, that means y is over x. So you identify your y, you identify your x, and it is always y is directly proportional with x. Okay? So our y is 24 and our x is 8, so we're going to put y over x, and that's going to equal to 3. So we would have y equal 3x is our equation. Everyone with me? So remember, your direct variation equation is y equal kx, and k is y over x. Now then, we're going to find the value of y when x is 27, so I'm going to replace x with 27. 3 times 27 is 81. Piece of cake. So just remember, if it's directly proportional or if it says varies directly, put y over x. Y varies directly with x. Y varies directly with x. Let's keep going. Number 2. Line G has a slope of negative 3/4. It goes to the point x, y. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. We're going to plug, I'm going to do it two ways. Plug in a point slope, and then we're going to use y equal mx plus b. We learned point slope last week. So our point slope equation, remember, is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. This is one way you can do it. So we're going to write down y minus 6 equals, our slope is negative 3/4, x, and then plus 4. Okay, so we have our point slope, don't we? Okay, so since we have our point slope, we're going to get rid of the fraction, remember? So we're going to get rid of the fraction. The denominator goes to the left. Okay, so we're going to multiply everything by 4 because the opposite of divide by 4 is multiply by 4. We're going to multiply. We'll get 4y minus 24 equals, the 4's here cancel out, and the negative 3 is distributed. Okay, so you'll take that negative 3 and distribute it. So the numerator goes left, the denominator goes right, and we'll get negative 3x plus or minus 12. Now then what we got to do is move over the 24, divide by 4. So I'm going to move over that 24, and I'm going to get 4y equals negative 3x plus 12, then divide by 4, and I'll end up with y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 3. That's one way to do it. So that way you're using point slope, plug it in, and convert it, okay? The other way to do it is to write down y equals mx plus b. And we know our y, our m, and our x, we just got to find b. Okay, so our y is going to be 6, our m is going to be negative 3/4, our x is going to be negative 4, and then plus b. Okay, so on this one right here, we're going to multiply these two terms. Thankfully, they multiply together easily. Sometimes they don't. So we'll get 6 equals negative 3/4 times negative 4. Punch that into your calculator, you'll get 4. I'm sorry, you'll get 3. Jiminy crickets. So negative 3/4 times negative 4 will be a positive 3. Plus b, move over the 3, and you'll get b equals 3. Then you just plug it in, and you'll get y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. Notice we get the same y-intercept both times. So you could use the y equal mx plus b all the time. You could use the point slope, okay? It's kind of simpler using this way, but if you do it the other way, it's going to give you more power because you're writing point slope and y-intercept. Let's go to number 3, okay? On number 3, write the equation in slope-intercept form that passes through these two. So the first thing we need to do is to get the slope. So we're going to go over here, put fraction bar minus minus, and we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Always put fraction bar and a minus minus on top. This is our x and our y, this is our x and our y. So my first y I'm going to plug in as the 4, then I'm going to plug in the 2, then my x is going to be 3 and my other x is going to be negative 1. Now then, I'm just going to simplify this. If you punch this as is into the calculator, you'll never miss it. Hit Control Divide and type it in. Please use the calculator here. Okay, but if you do it by hand, 4 minus 2 is 2, 3 minus a negative 1, that 2 negatives will turn into a positive. You'll get 4, and our slope is going to end up being 1/2. Now then, on this one, we're just going to do the y equal mx plus b. So let's write down y equals mx plus b, and this is our y, and this is our x. So I'm going to replace the y with 2, I'm going to replace the m with 1/2, I'm going to replace the x with a negative 1 plus b. Okay, and this one's going to be kind of tricky because it's going to have a fractional y-intercept. Okay, so if you work this out, you'll get 2 equals negative 1/2 plus b. Move over the 1/2, we're going to add 1/2, and we'll get b equals 2.5 or 5 over 2. Okay, if you do 2 plus 1/2, you get 2.5, and that switches to 5 over 2, or 2.5. So our equation would be y equals negative 1/2 x plus, and let's do the 5 over 2. That's the way it'll be on your star. Remember, you can also use point slope and switch it. If you use point slope and switch it, it kind of really works out, okay? Let's go to number 4. Okay, the total distance in centimeters, Buzz Lightyear moves varies directly. So underline varies directly. Remember, y varies directly with x. Y varies directly with x. So our y would be the distance in centimeters with the time. So that y will be centimeters, so write this down, y and x, and the y will be centimeters and the x will be time. Okay, Buzz moves a total of 100 centimeters, that's our y, over 50 seconds, that's our time. That would simplify to 2, which is going to be our k in it. So we know our k is 2, so write down y equals 2x. Now then we have 210 centimeters, don't we? The centimeters is y in it. So I'm going to replace y with 210, and I'm going to solve for x. I would divide by 2, and I would get x equals 105, and remember x is centimeters. I'm sorry, x is seconds. Okay, so you put your y over x, you do y varies directly with x, so y is our centimeters, x is our time. Put 100 over 50, centimeters over time, simplify that, which is 2. Then write down y equal kx, replace the k with 2, and then they give you the y, they don't give you the x. So you put the 210 in, and instead of multiplying, you divide. So when you solve for x, you end up with 105. Let's go to number 5. This is so much fun, just like eating an Oreo cookie. So let's go to number 5. And we want to know the rate of change. And I would just circle the first 2 right here. Okay, just pick 2 of them, circle them, and do y minus y over x minus x. First thing I teach my students to do is put minus and minus. Then we're going to put, this is a y, and an x, and an x. We're just going to plug them in. So 5 and 7 go on top. I just put these on top. y2, y1, and then 3 and 0 will go. So 5 minus 7 is a negative 2. 3 minus 0 is a 3. Notice the numbers are getting smaller, aren't they? The numbers are getting smaller, so our rate of change, or our slope, is going to be negative 2 over 3. Also notice, taking this one step more, this 7 right here would be the b, wouldn't it? Because it's the ordered pair 0, 7. That's our y-intercept in it. If we wanted to, we could make the equation. The equation would be y equal negative 2 over 3x plus 7, wouldn't it? Because the 7 is the y-intercept. They give it to you in the table, okay? Something to know. Number 6. Okay, what is the rate of change of the linear function? And we're going to do y over x, right? So we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can pick any 2. I usually pick the first 2. So this is going to be y and y. This will be x and x. Y'all with me? So we're going to put 60 over 40 and 20 over 10. Okay, do 60 minus 40 and 20 minus 10. You get 20 over 10, which is 2. Okay, so our rate of change, or our m, is 2. And that would be height per second, right? Piece of cake. That's all they want to know is the rate of the linear function. So the rate of the linear function would actually be 2 feet per second. It's going to be the slope and then y per x. Okay? So it's 2 feet per second. That's how you would write that out. Y per x. Let's go to number 7. Almost we're halfway there. If you had a bag of Oreos, it'd be halfway over. Like, man, I want to slow down and savor the Oreo cookies. Okay, on this one right here, we want standard form. So we're going to do point slope and switch it. So here's our m, here's our x, here's our y. I would try to use point slope every time and switch it. That way you're doing the same thing every time. So remember our point slope formula is y, Jiminy Crickets, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. You had some lessons over this, but it was a long time ago, okay? Just remember how to do that point slope. Okay, so let's go through this. We're going to do y. The opposite of negative 5 is a positive 5 equals, our slope is 3, parentheses x. The opposite of positive 1 is a negative 1. When you put the y and x in there, you're putting the opposite numbers. Now then, this is going to be a piece of cake because there's no fractional slope, is there? So we don't have to get rid of a fraction. So we're just going to take this 3 and bluebell trick it. We're going to distribute it. And we're going to have y plus 5 equals 3x minus 3. Now then remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c, and the a must be positive. So our x goes first and our 5 goes last. So we're going to take the x and move it to the left, and we're going to take the 5 and move it to the right. So when I move the 5 over, I'm going to get, and move the x over, I'm going to subtract 3x. So I'm moving the 3x to the left and the 5 to the right. So I'm going to end up with negative 3x plus y equals negative 3 minus 5 is a negative 8. And since my x is negative, switch all the signs. So if I switch every single sign, I'll get 3x minus y equals 8. If you put one negative 5 in the equation, you will generate 8, okay? So this is what standard form would look like. This right here would be the point slope form. So in this problem here, we generated point slope and we switched it to standard. You have to be able to write an equation of a line in point slope, standard, and y-intercept. So make sure you can do all 3 of those. Number 8, all we got to do is get the slope of the line. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is our x and y. Fraction bar minus minus, and now then plug in your numbers. My y2 is negative 9 and negative 5. Notice that there's 2 negatives on top, right? Always start off with the minuses. And then I'm going to put 3 and negative 1. Please use the calculator. Hit Control Divide and then type in 9 minus negative 5. Hit the down button, type in 3 minus negative 1. Hit Enter, and you will not miss this. Okay, if you do it by hand, it's going to be negative 9 plus 5 over 3 plus 1, which is going to be negative 4 over 4, and you should end up with negative 1 as your slope. That means this line's going down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. It's going to go through all the grid points. Let's continue on. What's the slope of this? You've got to be able to know the slope in all the formulas. So let's solve this for y. 3x plus 4y equal 28. Move over the 3x. And I'm going to get negative 3x plus 28. Remember, you're just going to subtract that 3x when you move it across, right? Now then we just divide by 4. So divide everything by 4, and you'll end up with y equal negative 3 over 4x plus 7. This is your slope. So my slope is going to be negative 3 over 4. Negative 3 over 4. Remember, this number and this number are going to be in the slope. And it's negative a over b, right? So that 3 and 4 in front of the x and y will turn into your slope. Number 10, okay? What is the rate of change in population with respect to the number of years? Okay, so our rate of change, well, remember, it's going to be y minus y. We need these 2 points over x minus x. So draw a fraction bar minus minus. And let's put 250 over 193, and then 10 minus 0. So we're going to get a decimal here. Subtract out, my cat's outside meowing. 250 minus 193 is 57 over 10. And if you divide that out, you'll get 5.7. And it's 5.7 Y population per year. So 5.7 thousand. 5.7 thousand per year. Remember, it's Y per X. If they had words in there, that's what it would say. The population per year, right? Whoa! Number 10 is done. We're almost done with the Oreos. It's like, Mr. Toot, slow down. We want to do this slower so the Oreos taste better. Another one right here. Finding the slope of 2 points, just Y minus Y over X minus X. You are finding the slope a lot. Use your calculator. Hit Control Divide, type in the top, hit the down, type it in, hit Enter, you won't miss them. Okay, so really quickly, let's label XY, XY, draw fraction bar minus minus, and we're going to put our Y's on top, our X's on bottom. So our Y's are 7 and 4, and our X's are 2 and 1. This is a piece of cake. It's just going to be 3 over 1, which is equal to 3, right? So our rate of change or our slope is 3. That means this line would go up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. That would be the rate of change. Let's go to number 12. Remember, when you get the rate of change from a graph, you go left to right. Always, always, always go left to right. Just like reading a book. In this problem, the line is not going up, it is going down. So draw what the line does. The line's going down and to the right. How much does it go down? It goes down 2, but since it's going down, it's going to be negative, and then it goes to the right 3. Just count the spaces. That would generate a slope of negative 2 over 3. Notice if you go down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3, you'll always end up on the line again. Oh! And the last one, Oreo cookies are almost all gone. This is going to be a tough one. Okay, this will be tough. You're basically plugging these numbers in and finding out which one works. So what I would do is write down y equals 4 minus 5 over 8x, and then do this. 4 minus 5 over 8, and then put a parentheses. What you're going to do is you're going to try these numbers, plug them in, and figure out which one is going to give you the y. For instance, let's do, is there one with an 8? Let's do this one. Okay, so if I input 2, well, hold on. Let's do this one. If I input 8, my output should be this. So if I were to input 8 in here, let me input an 8, and then punch this in the calculator. 4 minus 5 over 8 times 8. Basically, this would turn into 4 minus 5 equals negative 1. That's not negative 8.8 in it. So this one would be wrong, wouldn't it? Okay, now then, let's plug in 5. If I plug in 5, it's saying I should get 20. So if I put 5 in here, this would make it 4 minus 25 over 8. That does not equal to 20, does it? That one's wrong. And it does not equal, if I plug in 5, it does not equal negative 20 either, does it? Okay, so J needs to be right. So let's go back up here, and let's try plugging in 8. So if I plug in 8, I'm going to get 4 minus 5 again, which is negative 1. Ding, 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 ding. Let's try one more. Let's plug in 4. Let me just switch this up here, and let's plug in 4. So if I plug in 4, I get y minus 20 over 8. I'm sorry, 4 minus. So I'm going to put 4 minus. This is 5 times 4 is 20 over 8, and 20 over 8 is 2.5. So 4 minus 2.5 is 1.5. Ding, 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 ding. This works. It's not easy because it gives you fractional and decimal answers. Another common point here, if you make this 4 decimal and plug it into the calculator, your answer will be in decimals. Okay? So when you plug this part into the calculator, do 4 decimal minus 5 over 8 parentheses, plug in your x, and it will generate your y. So the only one that works on this one is J. What a day. Tomorrow you'll take a test. You are going to do wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Remember, it is going to be open notes, so make sure you have your notes organized. Make sure you have this review sheet with you. Look at the review sheet as you do your test. You're going to do wonderful. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.